I can't just know instinctively. I will know like one or two things. Like, well, they're gonna
Right.
want to know this, this, and this. Okay, well, I don't know beyond that. So let me
Right.
do this, this, and this. That's the journey. And then as you're working with people, you do start to get a lot of the same types of questions or the same
Yep.
concerns and that kind of thing. And so that will help you to create an extended buyer journey.
And welcome back to another episode of the Charyse Williams Show. Oh my gosh, you guys, I am so excited. I couldn't even sleep last night. Because of our special guest today. So our special guest today is so iconic, and many of you know her. Her name is Cassie Howard, but for those of you, hey Cassie, hey. For those of you who don't know Cassie, let me give her a proper introduction. So Cassie Howard is an online business mentor for women. She is most known for her savvy sales skills and her ability to make business simple, fun, and sustainable. My kind of girl. Her approach to business and money is one that has attracted the attention of women all around the world in their own attempt to build a mind-blowing business of their dreams. What Cassie teaches in her programs, masterclasses, and individual trainings, and I can personally attest to this, is something that she embodies in her own company every single day. A company that has generated over 8 figures cash. Did you hear me say cash? Over 8 figures cash in just a few short years. She enjoys breaking the rules. I think that's why I love you so much. She enjoys breaking the rules and doing what others tell her that she can't. Oh my gosh, her unique way of doing business has changed the game in coaching and the mentoring space. Many of her clients have surpassed milestones and created shocking success at rapid speed. Cassie is a huge proponent of success on your own terms. She believes that you really can be, do, and have anything, experience anything in your very own way. She teaches work ethic, staying power, big, bold moves, and long game focus, alongside her many teachings on money, sales, and social media. She is someone that wants every woman to win and is passionate in supporting her clients on their journey to limitless success. You guys, please help me welcome Cassie Howard.
That was amazing.
I love it. You guys, so first, Cassie, I gotta tell them how I entered your world, the Cassie world, as I like to call it. So and we're gonna get into this, how mesmerizing you are, but I found out about you some way, somehow, I don't even know, back in 2019. I think it was 2019. It may have been 2020. But what I can say without a shadow of a doubt is that I stay peeled to every single thing. Every email I've ever gotten from you since the beginning of me following you, I've never deleted. I don't know why, but I'm like, I can't. It's Cassie. I can't delete it.
You must have a lot of emails.
You don't even want to know. You don't even want to know. But but my Cassie emails I never get rid of, and I follow you like crazy online. But anyway, because you're so mesmerizing, and I think what really attracts me to you, and I'm guessing you'll attest to this, women like me, what we're attracted to you is, or why we're attracted to you is because you've got this badass persona, like your bio read, it's like doing it your own way, breaking all the rules. Tell me that I can't, and I'm gonna show you that I can, right?
Yeah.
So where did that come from, Cassie? Where did that attitude come from?
It came from people telling me I couldn't do things. It's like I've always had this thing in me, I guess, ever since I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, I was told, no, don't touch that, don't go there, don't ask that, all kinds of things, don't do . Yeah, and I just didn't like it. And every time somebody said to me, it would build and build and build and build until eventually I got to the point where I was like, tell me I can't do anything. Please give me something, because I love a good challenge. I love a good challenge.
I love it. And some people might take that continuously, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, to shrink. Some people would take it that way, and then others would be like, okay, like you said, bring it. I got something for you.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, and so what I feel like I keep saying what I love most about you, because there's so many things I do love about you, but you make sales so much fun. Has that always been you? Has it always been fun for you? How did this even come about? Share that with us.
Oh my gosh. I mean, so I've been selling since I was a kid. I started with daily yard sales in our backyard in the summer. All the kids would go out and play with their friends, do the things. I would be selling. stuff that my mom didn't want me, because I'd find random stuff around the house, like, I'll sell this. She was like, where did my little glass go? Anyways, I started with that. And then I loved the energy of, okay, I'm giving you this and you're giving me that. Here's something that I have that you want, and you have something that I want, and we're just exchanging it. So I really loved like how beautiful that was, even as a kid. And so as I grew older, I was like, I want to do this all the time. I want to sell all the time. But I didn't have a business because I was, 10, 11, 12, 13, So once I was old enough to have my own business, I started to sell. And at first it was when I was in the adult industry. So I was really selling me, like my own image online.
Yeah.
And that was different in a sense, because it's like, how do I sell me? Like I had to really learn about personal branding and all of this. So it was challenging, but I love a good challenge. So it was fun for me, and then I just learned more and more about sales. And the more I learned about sales, the more I hated sales, because everything that I learned about sales went against everything that I wanted to create. So everything was like, you have to basically, like, here's how to persuade people. Here's how to convince people to buy your thing. Here's like, but what if people just buy from me because they want to? Like, can that not work? So I figured out a way to make it work. And things like, you have to have a website, and you have to book all of these calls, and you have to cold call people. And I was like, I don't want to do that. So another fun challenge. And so it became that. And then at one point I was doing so much in my business that I just felt overwhelmed. And I asked myself the question, what if I just decided to get paid to be me and just have fun all day? What would I do?
Oh my God.
And it was the hardest challenge that I've ever taken on, but it worked eventually. Like, I had to learn some things, but it eventually worked. And now my motto is, if it's not fun, it won't get done. Like, I just refuse to do it. Refuse. And if it needs to get done, I outsource it.
That's
If I don't have to do it, but it needs to get done, I will outsource it. I will only do it if it's fun, because I find that fun is magnetic. And it's because I see so many people running their businesses in a way that's not fun for them. So when they see somebody else who's having the time of their life in their business, they're like, what is happening here? And that's what's so magnetic.
It is. And, I will continue to scream this from the mountaintops. It's just what you said. If it's not fun, I'm not doing it. And, that's one thing that if ever I see some, if ever I start to feel off, or if I start to see like some trends in my business that I don't like, I step back and I'm like, okay, Charyse, are you not having fun? Like, how can you make this more fun?
Yeah.
Like, how can you infuse more fun into what you're doing on a day-to-day basis? Because some things can't get monotonous, some things are just repetition, but how can you make it more fun? So I love that. I love that. Yeah. And listen, you nailed it, because it always seems like so much fun. I was talking to one of my friends, and she was like, you really love this lady, don't you? I'm like, it's so much fun.
I'm so glad. And it's why, like, innovation is a big thing for me as well, because what's fun now might not be fun 6 months from now, or a year from now, or 2 years from now. So you've always got to innovate as well. And it's like, how can I take fun to the next level? Not just how can I take my business to the next level? How can I take fun to the next level? Because that will take my business to the next level.
Yeah, for sure. And you said something a second ago that I think is really, really important. And I think we should just kind of, repeat it, or kind of call attention to it. There are so many ways to build a business. There's so many ways to be successful in business. And you might, see someone crushing it in business, but it just doesn't feel aligned, for you. And so what would your recommendation be to the person who's like, okay, I don't like doing this, and this? Like, what would your recommendation be to them?
So I always say to experience as much as you can. So try all the things that you're seeing. So one person saying do this, another person saying, try them all. And you will find things where, even if they work, you're like, I hate this. I don't want to do this for another second. Like, I can't stand it. And you'll find other things that maybe they work, and maybe they're not quite working yet, but you're just enjoying them so much. It's easier for you to be consistent with them because you're enjoying them. Those are the things you stick to, but you don't know what you don't like until you experience what you don't like.
Absolutely.
Or what you do like.
Right, right. And I think also, giving yourself a chance to, everything's going to feel uncomfortable at first. If you've never done it, it's going to feel uncomfortable. So kind of, allow yourself, right, to get through that uncomfortable piece of it.
Give it some
And then
time.
and then reevaluate, like, okay, I kind of got this, but I don't like it. Or, it's still kind of uncomfortable, but there's something about it. I kind of like it. I can get to like it, right?
Yeah. And then you can also figure out how to make it your own. Like there's certain things where maybe you learn something, you're like, I really like this, but I don't like this one piece of this.
Right.
How can I tweak it a little bit? And then that's how you create your own, modalities and your own success stories, is from that, is bits and pieces. Like all the things that I've created are bits and pieces that I've learned from other people that I've sewn together and made it my own.
Right. Innovation. That's what you just talked about. Innovation, making it your own. So I love that.
Yeah.
So I know one thing that can sometimes be controversial is the idea of selling lots of things. The idea of selling lots of things. So what is your take? I know your take on it, but share. Please do share with us your take on selling multiple things at one time.
Okay, so I will tell you that I experimented with selling one thing at a time. I always try things first, and I was told, do not sell more than one thing at a time. It will confuse people. It will overwhelm people. Just don't do it. Every single person I talked to told me this. So you know what that means? I've got to try it the other way. And if they're right, they're right. But I was like, I'm at least going to try it. And I sold multiple things. And I realized not only was it more fun for me, because I tend to get bored if I'm just talking about the same thing over and over, but also it made more money. And it made more money because people weren't just buying, they were buying multiple things because they were given options to buy multiple things. So your sales go up if you do this right, when you're selling multiple things that make sense for the buyer and you give them multiple options. They will pick one thing or they'll pick multiple things. But I've noticed that most people pick multiple things. So I think it's pretty fun. And I know that it can work, but it has to be done in the right way for you. Because for me, as you've seen, I have lots of offers, lots and lots and lots of offers.
How many offers do you have, Cassie?
I'm at this point, maybe like 150 different offers. There's a lot of different things, so many, but that's not going to work for everybody. So for you, it might be 10 offers. It's like 10 offers is a lot for you. Then that's your number, and stick with that. For me, it was 2. I started with 2. That felt uncomfortable for a while. Then I did 3, then 4, then 5, then 10. Now I'm selling upwards of 10 to 15 things in a single day. Like, and it's easy for me. Like, it's like the easiest thing in the world. But it was really, really hard at first because I wasn't used to it. Once you get used to it, then it's easier to do. But start with one thing, then 2 things, then 3, and eventually you'll find your sweet spot.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And I've always been of the mindset of, and it's because of the way that I am, like, sell one thing. Like, if you have one thing to sell, guess what you're going to sell? The one thing. I found for me initially, when I started, with my holistic health practice, my holistic health coaching business, I found that, because I kind of created some other things, but I was always scattered. Like, I didn't know what to offer people. Right. And so for me, I've always been sell one thing until you nail it. Like, you're confident, because when it's like anything, when you're doing something through repetition, you're going to get good at it. Your confidence is going to be great. You're going to hear the same objections. You're just going to nail it. And then now you can take that into selling other things. Now, since I've entered your world, I don't know how many offers I have now, but I do have quite a few offers, and I love selling them all on a daily basis. So I think it's really important, just to kind of drive home what you said before, is try it out. Try it on for size. See what feels good for you. And so for those of you listening, that might be something like, let's say you have like a 3-month, let's say your signature program is a 6-month program, like a total body, because I know everyone listening is either has like a holistic health or functional medicine, program in some way, shape, or form. And so maybe, let's say, for instance, you are in medical weight loss and you have like a 6-month, but maybe you have other peptides, right, that you offer. Maybe you sell, maybe they just want that little piece of it. Maybe they don't want the whole 6-month program. Maybe you can break it into 3 months. Maybe, like Cassie always talks about, creating different money pathways. And that was actually one of my questions that I was going to ask you is, but how can you look at that one offer and and maybe offer more proximity to you, right? So now you've got one offer, but you actually turn that one offer into two
stretching
offers.
it, offer stretching. Yeah.
Yeah, offer
Take
stretching.
one offer and turn it into multiple different offers. Like that was a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Was looking at, because my programs were typically 6 months, like 3 to 6 months on average. And then I realized they don't need to be that long. I can have those for the people who want everything all in one place.
Right.
But there's some people who just want what we cover in month 1. So why don't I just sell that individually? So I started to break it up into bite-sized pieces and still have that big package for the people who want it, but then have these smaller little micro programs for those who wanted something a bit more specific.
Yeah, no, I love that because it gives people options. And again, for me, and you have to know if that feels like too much to manage, don't go there. Stick with your one thing, right? But then as you start to get more comfortable, your business gets to, I think really it's not even a matter of necessarily your business getting to a certain level. I think it really is about you getting comfortable, right? And then having the desire to expand and having that curiosity, like, oh, what else can I do with this one offer? How can I make it look slightly different or add on to it or whatever? So
having fun with it at that point.
Fun with it. Yeah. I love that. Going back to like this, having fun with sales, what would you say are there three, if you could narrow it down to three things, what three things would you say are kind of non-negotiables, daily non-negotiables to building your business?
I always say the same 3 things, and it's been the same 3 things since day 1, and it's content, sales, visibility. Those 3 things. So content could be part of visibility, but visibility is also things like podcasts, like being on podcasts, right? Doing collaborations with other people, showing up in other people's groups and masterminds and spaces like that. So that's the visibility piece. The content piece, pretty straightforward. Talk to your people. And then your sales piece is creating the offers, selling the offers, and then creating those money pathways, which is just the different places that people are finding the offer. So visibility for the offers.
Love that. Yeah, absolutely. Now you said something about, you mentioned selling, daily. And I'm sure as you've been coaching and mentoring people, but how do you handle when people have maybe some money shame or money guilt, thinking that they're offering their offer too much, thinking that they might be perceived as greedy, or, particularly like in the healthcare space, how do you coach them through that? Or what are your thoughts on that?
So I had this exact thing myself. When I first started, there was guilt of selling. It felt to me like I was taking money from someone. And what I didn't realize in that moment was I was taking money, sure, but I was also giving something in exchange for it, something of value to the person. And so it was a value exchange. And I didn't see it as that. I saw it as just I was the one receiving. I didn't even recognize that the person who was buying something was receiving something from me as well. So now I see selling is a gift. Like selling is something that I am doing for you. I am selling this to you for you. Like it is for your benefit. Sure, I'm going to make money, but I'm selling something that's valuable to the person who's buying it. And I see sales as, it's like, if you are not selling, you are selfish if you're not selling.
Yeah.
Because what you're keeping, all of that knowledge, all of that expertise, all of that, something that can help people, you're keeping that to yourself. How is that not selfish? As long as you're selling something that is going to help people and you're selling it to those people, the right people, then it's selfish to not sell. So that's how I see it now. So now I show up and sell every day because A, I have a business and that's what businesses do, but also B, because if I don't sell, people aren't getting access to this information that could change their life.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I hope you guys like really, really got that. Because I get it. It's particularly, being nurse practitioners in the healthcare space. It's like, but it should be altruistic. But what you don't, sometimes what I think it's important to make that shift. I have something valuable to share and to give. That's literally life-changing. When you can help someone with their health, it affects their entire life. And there's no shame in that. It's like you said, it's that reciprocity. It's not a take. It's an exchange. It's an exchange. Exactly. And at the end of the day, when you think about like who really gets the best part of the deal, Actually, I look at it, I think they do. They've changed their health, they've changed their life, and it affects every single
Yeah.
area of their life, and it affects every person that they are connected to in their life. And yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, you made money, but did it change your life? No. I mean, did it add to it? Probably, but it literally
Yeah.
changed their life. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And especially with healthcare, like you said, like it's not just for you, your loved ones as well are benefiting from it.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I know one thing that you have really mastered, and I kind of consider it an art and a science. You've really mastered this attracting people to you and to your offers, to your programs, and it appears, because again, personal testimony here, that they stay in your ecosystem. So you attract people to you, and you manage to keep them in your ecosystem. Um, what was that intentional? So first question is, was that intentional when you first started? And then secondly, how do you do that? How do you do that?
The magic question.
The magic
Okay,
question.
so was it intentional? No. And the reason it wasn't intentional is because I didn't know that it should be. Because you do want people to stay, but I didn't even think of that. So was it intentional? No. It is now, but in the beginning, no.
Mhm.
But for me, it's really always been about magnetism, or not magnetism. Obviously, it's magnetism. Mystery. Like I really
Mhm.
love mystery, and so a lot of my brand is it draws people in because of the mystery. Just the things that I say and the way that I say them, it leaves a little something to the imagination where people are like, "Ooh, what does she mean by that?" I'm going to follow to see if she mentions more about that. Or when I'm selling an offer, I only give a little bit of the details, but I really like hype up the program or the offer, whatever it is, and people are curious about it. They start asking questions. So there's a lot of mystery infused in my brand, which is very intentional. And that's how I love to buy as well, is with mystery and intrigue. So that's a big piece. But the other piece in terms of like keeping people around is number one, you have to have great stuff. Like you have to be delivering on what you're saying you can deliver on. You have to care about the people that you're supporting and working with. And also you have to have things that keep them interested. So one of the biggest mistakes I see, especially in the coaching space, is that people are creating the same kind of content over and over and over again that they created themselves, as well as what everybody else is creating. So you see a lot of the same over and
Same
over and
stuff.
over and over again. And you can have the same topics, because obviously there's going to be certain things that you're just really good at, and that's your zone of genius, but you want to change up the way you approach it. So maybe instead of having a 6-month program, you have a 6-year program. Maybe you have a 6-day program. Like you change it up like that, where people are like, whoa, what's she doing? Nobody's doing this. Like really
Yeah.
innovating and staying, connected to that. But then also having that buyer journey is really important. So, and not even necessarily the buyer journey, meaning they're going to buy things, but they're at least going to follow along with your content and things like that, is knowing where your audience is right now. And then what's the next thing they're going to be curious about, and what's the next thing. And then your content or your offers is tailored to that, so that they're constantly following along because they're on that journey with you.
Yeah, I love that. And I can honestly say I had heard that before, like the client journey. And so I remember hearing that term, but it didn't hit home until I heard you say it. And then I started evaluating. I'm like, okay, what do they need to know before they even do this? What do they need to know? And then after they do this, what do they need to know? Or what kind of support are they going to need? And I'm like, that just makes sense. It just makes sense. So thank you,
And it
Cassie.
makes it
It
so
just
much
makes sense.
easier to know,
It
like, okay, well,
does.
now I'm going to create this and now I'm going to talk about this. Because a lot of times people get overwhelmed with content, or they're like, I don't know what to say, or I've said it all before, and things like that.
Mhm.
Then you don't have a client journey, or you do, but it's too short. You need to extend it so
Mm,
that you always have something else.
yeah. And for those of you who are listening that are new, maybe you just have recently launched your business, you might not know just yet necessarily. I would encourage you take a stab at it, right? Like jot down what you think the client journey it should be or is. But here's the thing, give yourself some time and some grace and some space, because what's going to become very apparent as you're working with people is, okay, now that I've worked with this person or this group of people, they are all asking me for this, or they all seem to be needing support with this. And so if you can't figure out, okay, what should the client journey be? Like I said, you probably have a little bit of an idea, but work with some real people, work with some people, and then you'll be able to map it out a whole lot easier. And then you just offer what it is that you know that they need, because everyone
Yeah,
needs a next step.
it took me probably 2 years to put together my client journey. Like at least
Yeah.
2 years,
Yeah.
because I can't just know instinctively. I will know like one or two things. Like, well, they're gonna
Right.
want to know this, this, and this. Okay, well, I don't know beyond that. So let me
Right.
do this, this, and this. That's the journey. And then as you're working with people, you do start to get a lot of the same types of questions or the same
Yep.
concerns and that kind of thing. And so that will help you to create an extended buyer journey.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I love that. So as we are wrapping up here, there's one thing that I love to do, which is like this whole rapid fire question thing. Are you game?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, rapid fire question.
Okay.
Questions. All right. So, who was your celebrity, your childhood celebrity crush?
I didn't have a childhood celebrity crush, but I have an adult celebrity crush.
All right, let's hear
And
it.
okay, this is gonna sound a little silly, but so I have two. So I have Richard Gere and I
Oh
have
yeah.
Denzel.
Oh
I
yeah.
like the old guys.
Me too. Sean Connery. I'm just saying. I don't know. And Tom
Always the
Selleck.
old guys.
I know.
Oh yeah, Tom Selleck.
Magnum
Yeah.
PI. I know.
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get it. I totally get that. All righty. If you were going to be stuck on an island, but you had a little bit of notice ahead of time, like what's one thing that you absolutely have to have with you on your island, your deserted island?
Water.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay, that's too practical. I would say an animal. I need to have some kind of animal with me.
Yeah, Leo.
Yeah. I'll bring Leo. He'll protect me from all the pirates and whoever else comes over.
That is so true. Leo's her German Shepherd, you guys, and he looks pretty intense.
Yeah, he's pretty crazy.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Who is one person that you would trade places with for a day?
Who would I trade, dead or alive?
Dead or alive?
Okay. Who would I trade places with? Actually, you know what? It'd probably be Pamela Anderson. She's been
why?
she's been a role model of mine since I was probably 17, 18. I learned personal branding from her. Like that's how she got started. Yeah, I know. So that's how she got started. Was she was discovered at, I think it was a baseball game, and it was all based off of her looks. But then she built pretty much a brand based off of just her being her.
Yeah,
so I just love that. And then I learned that she was vegan, and then she's really in love with animals, and I just loved her even more. So she's got some wisdom that I would like to tap into.
Yeah, she does. And I actually love like talk about, rebel and being innovative. Like even now her brand is just aging gracefully. I can't tell you how many times I've seen her, no makeup, and she still looks good. Her skin looks great. I don't know if she's done any, and I don't know if she's done any.
And she has a skincare line.
She does? I did not know that. Well, that's smart.
I just found that out. Yeah,
well,
she's monetizing off of it. See?
I love it. Innovate. Love it. All right. What would you say is the biggest risk you've ever taken?
Biggest risk I've ever taken. Oh God, there's so many. Okay, off the top of my head, biggest risk I've ever taken is probably having kids. Because I was honestly really afraid that I would mess them up.
Oh, no.
I don't know why. I just always had to say, I was like, I don't think I'm very maternal. And I still don't think I'm very maternal, but my kids are pretty cool. So I think I did all right.
I think probably we probably all have that little concern somewhere
in there.
Bit. Like, oh my God, I don't want to screw this up. Like these are humans. These are little
it's a big responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility. And we're all just doing the best we can, man.
Exactly.
I think you're nailing it though. I do. So what is one of your guilty pleasures?
One of my guilty pleasures. Oh, do I want to admit this?
I don't know. Do you?
Okay, so it's a food guilty pleasure.
Okay.
And so I take vegan cheese and it's like a cheddar flavor cheese, and I melt it in the microwave, and then I dip saltines in it.
Saltine crackers?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Okay, I've never done it, but it sounds like
it sounds so bad, but it's delicious. But it's like comfort food. It's
yeah.
comfort food.
No, I totally get it. And, someone mentioned this to me. When I asked them that question, I said, "What's your guilty pleasure?" And she said, "Well, I don't think pleasure is guilty." She said, "Pleasure is a gateway to power." And I thought, "Oh, I love that. I love that." And it's true. And you actually have a what is their course? They have a program about climax to cash.
Oh, climax to cash. Yeah.
We were talking about pleasure, guilty pleasures. That's where my mind went. But anyway, all righty. What's the best compliment you've ever gotten, Cassie?
When somebody they said to me that they think that I'm a teddy bear. And the reason that I liked this so much is because they said on the internet, you look like such a hard ass. You look like you're going to be so mean. But then once I start talking to you, I realize that you're just a big, it was like ooey gooey or gooey or something like that. Like you're a big gooey teddy bear. And I was like, oh, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. I just didn't realize I looked like such a hard ass on the internet, but
from my perspective, I wouldn't say hard ass, but I would say badass for sure. But I can see that. I can see how one would think like, oh man, she's gonna like be a drill sergeant or something like that. Yeah. But you're not. I love it. I love it. What's the worst piece of advice you've ever gotten?
So much. The worst piece. So many things could go in that position. I think anytime anyone's ever told me not to do something that I wanted to do, I would say like anything at all is like, don't do that. That won't work. Or don't do that. That's not a good idea. Don't do that. You're not going to like it. Anything. Don't do that. I've always been, because I listened in the beginning. In the beginning, I listened to people who were like, don't do that for whatever reason. And I wouldn't do it. And I always think back to those times of regret. Like, I wish I had done those things.
Yeah. Isn't it so liberating when you like find yourself? I mean, because when you're starting a business, you're trying to figure it out. You're taking advice from everybody, but there's something to say when something just clicks and you just kind of settle in and you're like, I got this. Not that you ever stop learning, not that you ever stop taking advice from people, but it's just something so, I don't know, liberating and empowering about like, no, I got this. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I really feel like it is something that you don't just have it. Like you do have to learn that over time by making some mistakes, taking bad advice. Like you do have to go through that. And then eventually you get to the point where you're so sure of yourself that you can ask someone for advice, they can give you advice, and you can ignore it and be fine if it doesn't resonate.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, very powerful place to be. Let's see. I've got one more question for you. Tell us something that we don't know about you.
I don't know if people know this about me or not, because I have shared it once or twice, but I was on a talk show at one point.
You were? Which one?
I was on Tyra Banks.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that about? I used to watch it.
Did you? Oh, yeah. That was so it was a really, really niche thing. So that was, okay, so it was called My Husband is Addicted to Porn. That was the name of the show. Okay. And I didn't know what I was getting into, but turns out I was the porn. Not that I did porn, but like so they flew me there to basically ridicule me on the television. Yeah.
Oh no, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, it was, but honestly, it wasn't at the same time because I was so sure of myself. I was so confident in myself, confident in my decision. Like I don't regret anything from that time in my life. Wow. And I don't take responsibility for somebody else choosing to participate in a particular activity. Like I'm not involved with this person. So
yeah,
it is what it is. But it was a very interesting experience being on TV.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And I don't regret it, but I definitely did not enjoy it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound enjoyable. But I do know that you love Big Brother, right?
Obsessed. Oh my gosh, so obsessed. I can't get enough.
What is it about Big Brother that you're obsessed with?
Mystery. It's the mystery. It's the I don't know what's gonna happen next. Like I actually, don't tell on me, but I actually stole from Big Brother the tagline. Expect the unexpected is going to be my tagline for Black Friday this year.
Expect the unexpected. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I see. I would have thought, I get it. Now that you said it's the mystery, I can totally get it because that's so you.
Yeah.
I would have thought it's like the strategy because everyone's strategizing and,
It is the strategy too.
is
Yeah,
it?
it is the
Yeah.
strategy, but I think the strategy is what keeps me tuned in, but it's the
Mhm.
mystery that kind of sucked me in the beginning. That's what it
Mhm.
was. And so every season, it's the mystery of who's going to win, who's it going to be, what are the
Yeah.
alliances that are going to be made, what are the twists and turns that are going to happen. Like that's what sucks me into every new season. But
Yeah.
then what keeps me there is the strategy and how it all unfolds.
It's interesting. I've watched several episodes and it's cool. It's cool. I think I like the games. Some of the games are kind of cheesy, but I like the games.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I do love the strategy. Like, just
Yeah.
trying to figure. I like the strategy behind it. What I personally don't like so much is I don't like the lying and the backstabbing kind of thing.
Yeah. See,
I
that
know
wouldn't
it's
be
part of the
me.
game. Yeah, I know it's part of the game, but like that's
Yeah.
the part that I don't like. Everything else I do like though.
Yeah. I always said if I was on Big Brother, I would be one of those people who's like, I am so real that it will probably hurt my game, but I can't be the backstabber. Like I just can't do it. I will say
Yeah.
it to your face, whatever I need to say.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I love it. So, all right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. Any closing thoughts or closing words you'd like to share with our audience today?
I think I'm just gonna share the thing that I always say, which is it's a quote that I say, which is you can be, do, and have everything you want. But I want to add to that and say, don't listen to people that are telling you it's not possible, whatever it is that you want to create. Stick with people, get as close to them as you can, the people who believe that anything is possible. Because when you do that, you create magic in your life.
Oh my God, so true and so true. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. And I hope everyone like just write that down and put that on sticky notes all over the place because it's
Yeah.
so important. It's so important. I actually, I'm just going to share this one thing. I was speaking to someone recently, and she said she was sharing with her business coach that what she wanted to charge for her services, and her business coach said, "Oh, no one's ever going to pay you that." I'm like, you need to run
Fire
because
that coach.
immediately,
Yeah.
immediately. And the crazy part is, I'm like, number one, you got to have someone who can hold the vision for you, right? And if they
Yeah.
can't think, I was so hot. I was
Yeah.
so hot.
That would have
Yeah,
been me too.
it was a
No.
wrap. So anyway, yeah, he ain't the one. He ain't the coach. So
Mm-mm.
anyway, that being said, I know that you have an amazing, fun community online. Do you want to share with them a little bit about the Limitless Woman?
Yeah, so the Limitless Women so it's a Facebook group, but it's also a collective just out there in the universe. Like all of us together, we are limitless and we're going for even more limitless wealth, limitless time, limitless freedom, love, pleasure, all the good things in life that we want more of. And I'm so passionate about helping women, especially, but anyone is welcome, to create this in their lives. And so all over the internet, in all the places, you will find me, and I will always be talking about things that sound a little bit too good to be true, but that actually are true.
And I love it. And I love it. Yeah. So we'll make sure I'll have the team link the link to the Facebook group down below in the show notes. And how do people find you? How do you want people to connect with you?
So if you're not going to be in the Facebook group, I would say Instagram. Instagram tends to be where I hang out the most, other
Okay.
than the group. I love Instagram. So Cassie Howard Biz on Instagram. I always forget what my
Awesome.
URL is for that.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll post it below. No worries. Y'all will be able to connect with her. And that being said, you guys, this has been so much fun. Cassie, thank you so much for being my special guest today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you on the next episode of the Charyse Williams Show. Bye for now.